Cakart loved playing Roblox. It was his favorite way to spend his free time, diving into different worlds and adventures. He especially loved flying planes in his favorite game. The thrill of taking off, navigating through the skies, and landing safely always excited him. Today, Cakart was excited to try out a brand new airplane. It was the latest addition to the game, and everyone was talking about it. He joined his friends in the game, and they all piled into the shiny aircraft. The anticipation was palpable as they prepared for takeoff. The plane soared into the bright blue sky. Everything seemed perfect. The controls were smooth and the view was breathtaking.
This is so much fun, Cakart! I can't believe how realistic this feels.
Yeah, I can't believe how smooth this flight is. It's like we're really flying.
Suddenly, the plane shook violently. The once smooth flight turned into a chaotic nightmare. Cakart and his friends screamed. They had never experienced anything like this in the game before. A giant, monstrous creature had grabbed the back of the plane. Its massive claws dug into the metal, shaking the entire aircraft.
The sound was deafening, echoing through the virtual skies.
The monster was unlike anything Cakart had ever seen. It had sharp teeth, glowing red eyes, and an aura of pure terror, and was covered in spikes. Each spike glistened menacingly, adding to the creature's fearsome appearance. The monster roared, shaking the entire plane. The turbulence was intense, making it hard for the kids to keep their balance.
What is that thing? It's going to tear us apart.
We're in big trouble. We need to find a way to escape or fight back.
Cakart knew he had to do something. He looked around frantically. The monster was connected to the plane's rudder by thick wires. If Cakart could cut those wires, maybe they could escape. He spotted a pair of safety scissors on the floor. They weren't much, but they were his only hope.
You cannot escape me!
Cakart bravely climbed out of the plane window. He clung to the wing, his heart pounding in his chest. The wind whipped at his face as he slowly edged towards the back of the plane. The monster's claws scraped against the metal, sending shivers down Cakart's spine. He had to be quick. Cakart reached the wires and started cutting with all his might. The situation was dire, and every second counted. He knew that if he didn't act quickly, the consequences could be disastrous. The safety scissors were dull. They had been used countless times before and were no longer sharp enough for the task at hand. They struggled to cut through the thick wires. Each attempt seemed more futile than the last, but Cakart refused to give up. Cakart squeezed the handles as hard as he could. His hands ached from the effort, but he knew he had to keep going. Just as he was making progress, the scissors slipped from his grasp. His heart sank as he watched them fall. They tumbled through the air and disappeared into the clouds below. It felt like all hope was lost.
Ha ha ha, you will never succeed!
The villain's taunting voice echoed in Cakart's ears, adding to his despair.
Cakart was horrified. He was trapped. The walls seemed to close in around him, and panic began to set in. He looked at the wires. They were a tangled mess, but they were his only hope. Then he took a deep breath and did the only thing he could think of. He had to act fast and decisively. Cakart opened his mouth wide and bit down on the wires as hard as he could. The taste of metal was bitter, but he ignored it. He gnawed and gnawed, determined to save himself and his friends. Each bite brought him closer to freedom.
No, stop that! The villain's voice was filled with panic now, realizing that Cakart might actually succeed.
Cakart's determination was unwavering. He knew that giving up was not an option. He knew he had to save his friends no matter the cost. Their lives depended on his courage and resolve.
Roar!
The monster roared again, sensing Cakart's efforts. It started to grow bigger and angrier.
Cakart, hang in there!
Cakart's teeth ached. The wires were starting to fray, but they were still holding strong. Just when Cakart thought all hope was lost, he heard a familiar sound.
RPG.
Someone shouted from inside the plane. Cakart's friends had found a rocket-propelled grenade launcher.
We've got this.
They took aim at the giant monster and fired. The rocket soared through the air and hit the monster with a deafening boom. The monster let out a deafening screech, its roar echoing through the sky, shaking the very ground beneath them. Smoke billowed from its body, thick and dark, obscuring the creature from view as it writhed in agony. It started to shrink, getting smaller and smaller until it finally vanished, leaving nothing but a faint shimmer in the air.
Cakart, watch out. The danger isn't over yet.
The severed wires snapped, sending Cakart tumbling through the air, his arms flailing as he tried to grasp onto something. But before he could fall too far, his friends reached out and pulled him back into the plane, their hands gripping tightly.
Gotcha. We won't let you go that easily.
They were safe, their hearts pounding with relief and joy. Cakart and his friends erupted in cheers, their voices filling the cabin with triumphant shouts. They had faced a terrifying monster and emerged victorious, their teamwork and bravery shining through.
We did it. We really did it.
You're amazing, Cakart. We couldn't have done it without you.
Cakart's bravery and quick thinking had saved the day, proving his worth as a true hero. From that day on, Cakart was a legend in the Roblox world, his name spoken with admiration and respect. He learned that even with dull scissors, courage could overcome any obstacle and that true strength comes from within.